Hello, everyone. How you doing? Welcome to another segment of the 21st Century Authors. That's right. Hey, I'm your host, Ronald Smith, or DJ Ronnie Ron, either one. And yes, this is one of the platforms, part of the Music Industry Networks LLC, where we create platforms as we control the exposure. So if you're looking for some advertising and promotions, as well as some entertainment for sure. All right, if you're an author, or whatever or if you have a business or or an entrepreneur, make sure you get in contact with us. Visit musicindustrymakeover.com. We are here for you. Okay. Hey, but without further ado, first of all, we want to definitely thank our sponsors and advertisers for jumping on board with us. So we'll be back right after this.
Hey everybody, Joanna Lauer here. As a singer, an actress, and a Christian, I know just how important social media can be. It's a place where you can network and connect with new people, keep in touch with friends and family, you can promote your business and even spread the gospel. But social media can also be a place of negativity, stress, posts and images that believers just don't want to see. The solution? Savior Connect. Savior Connect is a brand new social media platform specifically designed for believers. Much like other social media sites, you can create your own free profile, add pictures, posts, and links, all without having to worry about seeing worldly images and messages. Savior Connect is the place where believers from all over the world can get connected. To create your profile, go to SaviorConnect.com today. Savior Connect, the Christian social network.
All right. Yes, we want to thank all our advertisers and sponsors, as well as one of our new ones here, Miss Annette Hankerson, out there in California. Hey, if you want to level up on your learning, all right, and with technology for the future, make sure you give her a call. If you want to know more about NFTs, crypto trading, all of that, all right, give Miss Annette Hankerson a call. Level up, all right. Hey, again, education is here. Technology is changing the game, and so she wants to help you. Go ahead on and give her a call. All right, she's right there waiting on you for sure. Okay. And as I said, if you are interested in wanting to advertise and help us and allow us to help you, all right, we're here, musicindustrymakeover.com. Go visit the website and see all the information and services that we offer and provide. Okay. Now, without further ado, this is the 21st Century Authors, and I'm so grateful to have this young lady who's doing some great things. And matter of fact, I got to take my time and read this here because you all need to know who we have here that's coming to the stage. All right. All right. She's recognized as one of Florida's most influential Black women. Kimra is a 2022 Onyx Magazine Woman of the Year, well, Woman on the Move honoree in 2021. Microsoft highlighted her and honored her accomplishments in the Legacy Project, a women's history edition celebrating women who empowered change. Some of Kimra's educational work in the intellectual property space can be found in the articles and features that appear in the American Bar Association, Landslide Magazine, Forbes Magazine, as creatives, professional athletes, influencers, victims, families sealing the legacies of their loved ones through intellectual property and ownership. And I got to read this last part. Inspired by her beginnings as a recording artist. Wow, hey, the girl can sing too. All right, man. Kimra segued into a career of video production where she freelanced as a BET for BET as a photographer and red carpet event photographer, and created content as an HBO video editor for almost 5 years. Her unique experiences heavily contributed to her entertainment network and client roster. Kimra is a sought-after speaker in intellectual property, as it in as it intersects with social justice, creative content protection. Man, hey, look, this woman is doing some great things. Let's welcome her to the stage to 21st century authors, Miss Kimra Major Morris. How
Oh,
you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for that amazing introduction. Sometimes hear these things and you're like, no wonder I'm tired.
Hey, you are doing some great things. Wow, we thank you so much for your accomplishment, man. I mean, and now we're here to talk about this book that you have that's involving churches.
Mm.
Okay, copyright compliance for churches, a quick reference guide for worship leaders. Wow, interesting, interesting. What made you come to write this book?
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's such an
Hmm.
honor to be able to share with your audience, and hopefully
Hmm.
I will inspire someone to, do something different, and
Hmm.
also to read about copyright law. So many people
Uh-huh.
assumptions about copyright law, but I started with this book, believe it or not, before I was an attorney. So
Mm.
I had passed the bar exam and I was waiting to be licensed because there's a lengthy background check where they go back until go back to when you were 16 years old, and you have to complete all this information. Well, I was going through a divorce while I was in law school, so I started the application process late. And so it took quite a while for me to get cleared. And in the
Mhm.
interim, the technology leader for my church then said, could you speak? Because, they knew I graduated. Could you pick a topic to speak on
Mhm.
for the technology department? And so, just clicking around with churches and legal issues, I stumbled upon copyright compliance for churches. And so, as I started reading about this topic, it was fascinating to me that
Mhm.
technology had changed and the exemption that the churches were operating under no longer applied because we were now streaming our worship services. But that's how I started this book. It started off as, lectures for my church. And
Mhm.
then there was never enough time to answer all the questions, and so then I wrote a quick reference guide back in 2009. So it's
Wow.
just amazing to me that this topic is so relevant right now in 2022, thanks to the pandemic. Online worship services have substantially increased since I wrote this book, or the first version of it, in 2009. So that's the
Mhm.
kind of the backstory.
Wow, definitely. And yes, technology has changed the games, especially even with COVID and a
Hmm.
lot of churches going streaming online, which I thought was kind of interesting because what 10 years ago churches used to blast Facebook and everything. It's like, oh no, no, you need to
Right.
come to the house of the Lord. No, this is like okay,
Exactly.
okay. Now you ain't got no other choice but to use Facebook or social media now.
That's something in Zoom. That's right.
Zoom,
That's
right, exactly, exactly. Wow. Okay, and definitely when it comes to copywriting, because I deal with even some artists, and so we try to copyright your stuff, make sure it's yours because people will steal it, especially
Oh,
even in gospel
absolutely.
music.
Absolutely.
and
Yes.
and I thought there was an issue one time where um there was some gospel artists didn't want worship leaders or churches singing their song unless they were getting paid. So
Mm.
and I was wondering, did that have something, or did that even help even prompt you to even write this book so to
No,
protect
it
yourself?
didn't, but I don't think
Hmm.
anyone should be upset with that. And so,
Hmm.
believers, we understand that we come here with gifts and our gifts will
Hmm.
make room for us. And for
Hmm.
some reason, people think that's not supposed to apply to the people who are creating the music. I can't
Hmm.
even tell you how much pushback I got when I first started talking about this topic. Uh,
Really?
yeah, oh no. So if you don't mind, I'll just give your
Go
audience
ahead. Yes.
overview
Yes.
of
Yes.
the book.
Yes.
So this book is about church copyright compliance, which is
Hmm.
just what it sounds like. It's copyright law gives the creator, the author of the work, six exclusive rights, and I talk about those in the books. But the
Hmm.
main one that we focus on for worship is the performance right. Uh,
Ah,
Okay, so if you run a nightclub, then you're very familiar with the fact that you need what's called a blanket license
correct.
to your club, because you are publicly performing the music at your club.
Right.
Well, there's this exemption under copyright law that says that if you are performing the music in a place of worship, then this copyright rule of performance doesn't apply to you. That's what the law says. In a
Okay.
place of worship is the key phrase, though, because that's when everybody was gathered in the place of worship. But
Right.
then technology in the late '80s took us online for worship services. Not it didn't pick up like it has now, but people
Mhm.
began worshiping and streaming services, recording services. So none of that is allowed under copyright law, the streaming and the recording of services without a license. And so that's the part that people didn't get educated on because for so long the church was exempt from these restrictions. But now that we've changed the way we worship, now
Mhm.
that the regular copyright law, or the copyright law that has been applying to everyone else, also applies to places of worship.
Oh man, wow. My good friend Kenny Smith said this is some good info. And he's a legend in the gospel industry as well. Yes. Oh, so
Oh,
basically that's why you need folks, you need to educate yourself on here, and you are about educating people so that they don't end up having to, I guess, receive the consequences of not know, I guess, of ignorance, I guess, right?
and you know what? It's beyond that. It's more of a
Hmm.
moral obligation. So,
Hmm.
truth is, everybody's not going to follow the law, unfortunately. And so,
Hmm.
what was happening when I was doing these presentations earlier, when the book first came out, people were saying, well, it's for a good cause.
Hmm.
Almost like it was missionary work.
Right.
And so, but then I like to joke with people and say, well, if I took your wallet and I gave it to a homeless person, that's also for a good cause, right? For
Oh
some
man.
reason, our how the saints are, and so
Yeah. Come on now, you're doing it for the Lord. Now, come on
right,
now.
right. So we just have to have we. So this book is really to put it on people's radar that this is the appropriate way to do things. This is the
Mhm,
right way to do things, and the moral compass, is my hope will kick in. And then people say, well, are people really suing churches? Yes, and you'll find
mm.
case law in the back of this book where people actually went after churches. So
It's
you don't want that to be the case because if your church is this beacon of hope in the community, but then
right,
you're saying to the producers, the songwriters, that doesn't apply to you because we expect you to continue to donate your services to enhance our services while we collect offering and do all
man,
these other things. We'll pay everyone else, but the
right,
part what is worship without the music?
man. See, I might need to have you on another show as well because again, that has been an issue, and especially with music nowadays, people can get music generally for free. So it's like artists are trying to get paid, so rightfully they should be compensated for their work, for the creativity. What?
Yep.
Wow. So churches. Okay. So basically, okay, so again, I just want to make sure this is pretty much for the um performance rights.
It's
Okay.
the display it's yeah, so that's the
Right.
main one. So there are others now. So copyright law gives these
Hmm.
exclusive rights to the author of the work, and
Hmm.
the book goes through each one and how each one applies in your routine worship service. So even the
Hmm.
display right. Did you
Hmm.
know that the King James version is the only version of the Bible that's in the public domain? So
Wow.
that means that all the other versions that get put on the projector, if we're going to be technical, we need
Hmm.
a license to display because the display right, we see it a lot play out in the entertainment industry where a creative, an artist, a visual artist will say, well, that's my painting in the background. You don't
Right.
have the right to display that in your production or something like that. But we're not, it's not common sense to think about this in a worship service with scripture or whatever you're just putting on the screen, but copyright law, this is
Hmm.
how it works,
Great.
again, for everyone else. And so there are some exceptions. There's a fair use exception, but worship doesn't fall under that. The
Wow.
news does, so that's commentary. People think because they have a nonprofit, then
That's
that somehow is fair use. No, that's still a commercial purpose.
that's where
So
I was going to go towards because that has been definitely perpetuated to say, well, yeah, we're nonprofit, so we're not,
right.
yeah, we are exempt from that. But now it's like, no, the laws have changed.
That's always what it was.
Oh, really? Oh, so that's wow. Hey, well,
This is honestly what I love most about
mhm,
doing this is because it just hasn't been taught. And so, it doesn't make anybody slow. It doesn't make
Right.
anybody responsible for not knowing it. This is just information that is needed, and it's just more important now than it ever was because we do so many things virtually for
Mhm.
even lay people to understand copyright basics. You don't have to be an attorney to be expected to know this. So if you're a worship leader, that's really who the
Mhm.
book is directed toward. If you're a worship leader,
Mhm.
or you're in charge, you're the technology minister of music, anything like that, you should know what the guidelines are.
Okay, I was just about to ask you for is your main target audience for this book. So pretty much worship leaders. That's like
Worship
wor-
leaders, I mean, those are
worship.
the people driving the ship, and so,
Right.
hopefully they will have workshops and invite people like me who are, educated on copyright law to come in and just answer questions. I do speaking engagements, I appear virtually. I'm
Mhm.
hoping that the book will help to get the word out as to what the guidelines are, just so
Mhm.
people can understand what this is all about. Why who is it for? Copyright law is a part of the US Constitution. So these are federal laws that apply all over the
Mhm.
country. And the reason they were created was to give the creative community incentive to want to create, because
Yes.
what the scriptures say, a gift to make room for you, right?
Yeah.
So now we're saying, the government is saying, well, yes, we'll help you protect it,
Mhm.
so that you will be the decision maker to say how it's used. You'll be able to grant these permissions, charge if you want to. And so we can't just snatch that right away just because our mission is to spread the gospel. That doesn't negate.
Man. Man, I'm telling you, that has been the narrative for so long. And as
Mhm,
you said, this has always been this way for us with copyright. But
mhm,
again, we've been getting a lot of misinformation. And so that's why
right.
we need to be educated properly here. And
That's
it would be advantageous for worship leaders or churches to bring speakers like yourself in, so to definitely help educate, because eventually what there's an old saying, there's no ignorance of the law. Oh, no,
that's
no,
right.
no, no, ignorance of
Ignorance
the
of the
law
law
is
is
no excuse.
That's
Right.
right. That's right.
So if you do get sued, all right, in the name of the law, it is what it is. Again, you didn't. I'm just saying, wow. Wha-
Yeah. I mean, and that's embarrassing. I mean, so
it
not only
is.
is it wrong, but just think about the statement you're making, to
Hmm.
disregard compensation. Unfortunately, it happens a lot. And, and so another thing that the book touches on is how um, what the paperwork should look like when we bring
Hmm.
in the youth to do our videotaping, when we bring in
uh
the youth to, do our social media. What does that look like when you have creative contributions?
mm,
Um, what should you have to make sure your church actually owns what it is you think you paid for, or what is the work that was done by a volunteer or even a paid intern? What does that look like?
wow.
And it varies in conferences, but this
Hmm.
even applies to the pastors and their sermons. That's intellectual property.
It sure is.
You wrote that sermon, and what does your contract say? Does it say that the conference you are under owns the sermon, or does it say you're an independent contractor, or because you're an employee, that's something that you created in the course of your employment? And if that's the case, then sometimes it does not belong to the pastor. So it's, so that's what it goes over
Mm.
to, is that something you could start off as the author,
Mhm,
but just like when I was a video editor at HBO, my job was to do the commercials. So if Men in Black came on, then I was
mhm.
putting the exciting scene, the trailers. I would do the
Right,
trailers, and then at the end of the trailer, I would put the information about when the show was airing. But we
right.
had sound effects, and I would do the special effects as a video editor. But whatever I did to make it look nice and sound nice did not belong to me, because I was hired to create for HBO. So there are
And
situations where the original author is not the owner of the work.
that's based from the beginning where they signed the contract, or
That's
so
right.
that this, which means again, you need to read your contract before
Hmm.
you get in a rush to sign things, because this is a big opportunity.
That's
Wow.
right.
and
Yeah.
and and I'll definitely want to touch on that, for the fact that we were talking about concerning the churches and that's doing things just out of the kindness of our heart because we're doing it for the Lord. So basically, anything associated with gospel or the church, it had to be free, and that's been a misnomer
Now,
for so long.
right.
And
And that is the reputation, unfortunately, when
unfortunately, yeah.
unfortunately, yeah.
Yes, and they would shy away from things like this because business is evil per se, and so when it comes to money and all it. But again, you take up tithes and offerings. But well, again, that's another talk show. But
Right. Let me stay
wow,
in my little lane here.
yeah, let me stay in there. This is also a churches. Okay, you need to definitely get this book, Copyright Compliance for Churches, a quick reference guide for worship leaders. Worship leaders, if you're a worship leader watching, okay, you need to get this book. Get in contact with her, all right, because I'm sure you will be blessed because you need to be educated. Wow, it's you pretty much the
It's
answer most,
actually
huh?
well, good. As I was gonna say, it's actually on pre-order now. You can get it through the
Okay,
site, but it will be downloadable on March 29th. So the website is majormorrislaw.com. So it's my name with
okay,
no hyphen in it,
okay.
majormorrislaw.com, and you'll see that's right. You'll see a tab that
Mhm.
says the IP Learning Center on the
Mhm.
right, and you'll be able to click and do a pre-order there.
Okay.
Um, yeah,
Wa
so I'm excited about it, especially
Mhm,
to see, because before, like I said, it was just it felt like a personal project, but
mhm.
when we had these changes in how we did business and how we worship with the pandemic, then I thought, well, you know what, this is a great opportunity to get this information out and educate people.
Mhm.
Uh, again, because it's the right thing to do, and because look at oh, you may not be familiar, but and just for the audience, when the pandemic hit, the people who were used to traveling, the artists on tour,
Yeah.
they, they weren't touring, so they lost
No.
substantial income.
Correct.
And so you're talking to about we are using this music to do your Zoom service or whatever. These are people who have had substantial financial losses, and
Right.
it should be a pleasure. It should be a pleasure to get a license to make sure that the money is routed to them that is owed to them.
That's all fairness. I mean, again, treat others the way you want to be treated. So, wow. Okay. Well, look. Any last words you want to say to the audience out there? Again, especially the worship leaders or so about this book. Why they should definitely get your book.
You should definitely get the book because you don't want to continue to conduct your services in a way that is a violation of copyright law. And I'm here to say that copyright law, when all other businesses have hold music, whenever they play it for their customers, even if you had a grocery store. So, certainly, if you are affiliated with a religious organization, you should pay attention to this because you can't have everyone else in the world respecting copyright law and then you disregard it. So I hope that you will get this information and utilize it.
Oh man, yes. Hey, look again. Wow, this is awesome. This is awesome. We want to thank Miss Kimra Major Morris for coming on 21st Century Authors. The book again, Copyright Compliance for Churches, a quick reference guide for worship leaders. Okay, look, go and get the book. Go to the website majormorrislaw.com. Go and download it and get it when it comes out, when it's made available on all the platforms as you see down below: Walmart, Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, and more. So this is something you need to have so that you can be educated. Because again, uh, some folks do, some people do not have any problems suing the church or
Right,
or, or getting their money. It is what it
right,
is. All right.
right.
So again, handle your business. Okay, handle your business. Again, thank you so much, Kimra, for coming on here. Yeah, you're down there in my hometown, Orlando, and hey, I'm sure it's warm down there compared to everywhere else. But
Oh yeah, it's been high 70s, low 80s. Thank you so
uh,
much for having me and thank you for everyone listening. Please spread the word.
yes, go and spread the word. All right. I'm hold on the line. Again, thank you all so much for joining us for another segment here, the 21st Century Authors. If you're an author and you would like to definitely present and promote your book, feel free to get in contact with us. We would love to let the world know. Again, These are the leaders, because leaders are readers. Okay, so and especially writers. So go ahead on and let us know so that we can present you out there to the world. Until next time, we'll see you again. Be blessed.